Hey, hey. Hi, guys. Welcome back. All right. So, Aries, happy full moon. This also happens to not just be a full moon, but it's a super moon. This particular moon is known as the deer rutting moon from the Lakota population. And so, with that in mind, I was more inspired to look at this from the perspective of what is this full moon bringing up from like the deeper subconscious in regards to topic of romance and relationships. So we shall see what we got. We started out with a Six of Cups in the reverse. We have a Queen of Swords upright. We have a Three of Swords upright. And we have the Queen of Cups. Did I say Queen of Cups twice? I'm sorry, Queen of Swords and Queen of Cups, both upright. Well, we definitely have, I'm going to say, Aries, understanding that when we're done with a chapter, when we've completed a cycle, or when we realize somebody wasn't a soulmate after all, therefore, maybe it's not a cycle, maybe it was just an experience. Having that clarity, it doesn't mean that it doesn't still sting, but it kind of feels like we're playing with the difference between how do we know if somebody's like a soulmate that we completed a journey with and we're moving on from, or when does it feel like this wasn't a soulmate, this is just somebody who made a mess of my life for a hot minute. I would say that might be what the message is. It's like, oh, they weren't somebody that I'm going to need to keep holding in my heart or say, oh, well, they were still a soulmate, even if we had some difficult times. I think because it wasn't anything other than maybe a big disruption. Maybe that's why it's like, look, the person just came in and what we had together was kind of like a wrecking ball. We never really had the frequency or the vibration. They weren't really somebody that was more than maybe a karmic and not even a soulmate, just maybe a karmic. And I realized that and I can let that go. Now it showed me one thing, which is I definitely need to love myself a little bit more. This wasn't anything that should be left causing me grief or pain. Not every relationship, unfortunately, has more to teach us other than just something purely for us to say, pay more attention to us. Some relationships make us grow. Some relationships exhaust us, and other relationships show us just one simple thing, which is, nope, learn about your own boundaries. Some people are just going to be wrecking balls. Those are the ones we don't let in. There isn't a better lesson that comes out of it than that. If we let them in, they're going to, make a mess of things. It's like, do you let a rabid raccoon into your house? The answer is 100% no, always. There are some things you cannot, letting it in is not going to help it nor you. There are certain things that you don't do. And that is the lesson. It's not like, oh, this is, an animal that I can, coax and make them less feral. No. They're, it's a rabid raccoon. There are just certain things we don't let in. And instead, it's like that one is to just learn how to keep up a boundary and withdraw from. And unfortunately, we always want to think every single thing has a greater purpose. And it does. It does. It has a purpose of, or maybe I shouldn't have used a rabid raccoon. Let's say, a lot of things in nature that are poisonous are very brightly colored. Not always, but lots of things like that are. Animals that are poisonous, fruits, berries, things like that. Some things that are poisonous, they're brightly colored, almost like, don't eat me. And if you try, you're going to get real sick. So don't do it. Just take the lesson. It's just a little warning. It's just just pay attention to it and just don't do it again. And that's all it is. It's not that there's deeper, okay, but maybe I can coax this berry into being less toxic. No, no. It's always going to be something not delicious, not to eat. Leave it alone. And that's maybe where we break patterns and we go, yeah, that's right. Not everything can I love out of its toxicity. Not everything can I be tender and my gentle administrations will assist something out of its, noxious state. Sometimes I'm the one who needs to learn the lesson, which is just take care of myself on this one. I'm not going to fix this. or don't let this thing into my world. That was my lesson. So it's me breaking a pattern. And I think that's what this boils down to. This is not to say somebody else was like, oh, they're bad, they're terrible. It's more like some things are not good for me, and I learned how to stay away from them. Like I said, let's say food allergy. Maybe that's a better way to look at it. Like, I have food allergies. I have certain stuff where I'm like, yeah, cannot. Edamame and I, we are not friends. I do not touch edamame. I know everybody loves it. I don't want that within 10 feet of me. There are certain things that, are noxious for us. So we just simply learn that I don't tango with. And that's it. There, we broke the pattern. We don't try to eat the stuff that we know isn't working for us. And the universe goes wild. It's like, yes, exactly. Sometimes the lesson is it ain't for you. And I think that's where Aries is. I don't have to say something's evil or bad. I just know it's not for me. It made a mess of my world, but I'm the one who learned the lesson. Let it go. Don't look for a deeper meaning on this one. Let them go. Let the situation go. And that's okay. And I think it's like the universe is standing here saying, beautiful. And now we graduate to the next lesson, the next layer. I think Aries has learned how to love themselves more, how to be okay letting go of things, particularly. I mean, this could have been anything. This could have been a family member. This could have been a lover. This could have been a friend. Of course, that's when it gets really confusing, because it's like, but I want to hold on to them. I want to keep trying to love them. But maybe, in fact, they aren't really that great for us. Or, in fact, they're quite toxic for us. And we're the ones who have to stop trying to wrap our arms around the prickly cactus. That's what it looks like Aries has done. They've learned what things to let go of. And it was, Aries is saying, it was my lesson. It wasn't theirs. They don't need to change. They can be what they want to be. I had to stop reaching my arms out and trying to hug the cactus and then wondering why it kept hurting. I kind of love this for Aries because, oh my God, no, I really love this for Aries. Because now we have Page of Wands to the King of Wands. Thank God. As Aries lets go and quits thinking that they have to either save somebody, salvage something, or because it felt like there was some kind of a bond to another person, even though it was nothing but pain, nothing but, a caustic relationship, that they still had to work on it. This is Aries' moment to say, I don't have to work on that. The second they let go of it, we actually see something so much healthier and happier coming in, and something very right for Aries. We have this King of Wands here that I think has been dancing right around outside of Aries' periphery, wondering, will Aries ever notice me? Or are they always going to be looking at this toxic person that they kind of need to let go of? This is such an important, relatable message, because I would say at some point, anyone who's ever had the capacity to love has done this, and anybody, these are fictional stories about fictional characters, but I think this is so relatable because we've all loved somebody that either wasn't good for us, but also didn't really need our love. They were happy doing what they were doing. They liked the way they were doing things, even if we were like, oh no, I got to just love on them because they couldn't be happy living that insane life that they're living. But they do. We think it's insane. They think it's great. And they're not unhappy. We're the ones making ourselves unhappy by continuously trying to love on them, instead of saying, let me practice self-control and let them be who they are and let me let them go. I don't have to call them mean or horrible. I just know that it's wrecking my life to try to love this person when they want to be who they want to be, and I have to let them. And I think that is such a relatable message. And if that's what's coming up during this full moon, it's like, oh my God. So it's not my duty to fix it. It's not my duty to, change the way somebody else is doing things. It's my duty to learn how to let them be what they are and leave them alone and allow other things into my life that are good for me, that are right there trying to come on in. This is such a nice change of pace. And I do think that there's an almost instantaneous reward because of that Hierophant being there. That Hierophant is the universe in this case. I think Aries is having a really great full moon, at least by the end of the energy of the full moon. Maybe it'll be over the course of these couple days that the full moon energy is real strong. But I feel like Aries is going to start to feel like their tension in their shoulders go, and their whole, like, oh God, I feel so much more relaxed. And now something sweet, something kind is making its way into my world already. This could be somebody very generous, somebody that could be a lover, a potential lover on down the road for Aries, but somebody who's wanted to talk to Aries could be, this is still slow. We're still easing into it. Oh my God. But we do have a 2 of Cups also. And we have a 3 of Cups. It might not be that slow. It could be that it's going to dawn. Hi, Pammer. Could be that it's going to dawn on Aries slowly, but I don't think it's going to take that long. As Aries releases what they felt they had to do to hold on to somebody who kind of only brought them grief, as Aries lets that go, not only does their whole life get lighter, and they also realize that's what I should have done a while ago and I knew it. They also start to see almost immediate, somebody who's like coming into Aries' life. Maybe it's just a spark of like making eye contact with that person at the deli where we pick up our sandwich for lunch. But then we come back in, a week or 2 later, maybe 3 weeks. I see 3 clocks here. Maybe 3 days, maybe 3 weeks. I mean, a clock should be 24 hours, but I usually look at this as a little slower energy than just days, at least put it into weeks. But go back in and I make great eye contact with this person again. This time we have a little bit more of a conversation. This time there's an obvious attraction. There's some heat there. Oh God, what's that song? Heat. When you're laying next to me, heat, baby, I can feel you breathe. I can't think who sings it, but it's a great song. It's a clubbing song for sure. I don't even know if people go clubbing. Man, that was like the greatest thing ever. We went out dancing so much when I was in my 20s. Like we just danced and danced and danced, and it was so much fun. And there was such great club music. I just don't know if anybody goes out anymore. I'm 45, so those days are kind of behind me, I suppose. But should dancing ever be behind us? I don't think so. Music should definitely never be something we age out of. But we have a 3 of Cups. I definitely feel like this full moon heralds the ending of something, or Aries letting go of something so that their hands are free, so that they can welcome in something else. Well, in this case, someone else. And I do feel like a little tiny spark of interest becomes much more of a flame over the course of not too long an amount of time before I think Aries is dating somebody, going out with somebody, spending more time talking to their friends about this person. I know it seems like Aries is shifting gears really fast, but I don't think so. I think that what this full moon is denoting is that Aries has let go of a very difficult chapter that they've known deep in their subconscious for a long time. It's me that's got to let go of this ex of mine, or this person that was causing grief to me. And it just feels like this is the supermoon where Aries does it. And this is their turning point in Aries' life. It's very relaxing. And then we get a reward almost immediately. Maybe because we made space in our head, our heart, and our hands to like reach for something better. I actually love this one. I think it's so great for Aries, and I think it's just what they deserve. But I also think it took a lot of courage for them to be able to like break a pattern. So kudos to this Aries. I think it's I don't know, it's just a very inspirational character, because I think it's a tough lesson, and it's even tougher to be able to, really do it. But God, I'm hearing that song now by Sia. Someone must have sent you here to save my life. Oh, it's such a great song. That one on repeat for like an hour straight is like so uplifting. Anyway, great song to end with. Tamara, thank you, babe. RT, so good to see you, sweetie. Happy full moon and good evening to everybody. All right, you guys, lots of love. I'm actually going to pop over to Tarot Dog briefly, and then I'll be back here and we'll do the last 3 zodiacs over here. All right, you guys, lots of love. Bye for right now.